Alright guys, well, I'm doing the stippling of the AFG, and let me see if I can get this bitch to focus. Alright, as you can see, I've already done one half of it. I'm going to be going around, finishing up that half. Stippling to me is real easy. I know some people send it out to get done. To me, it's just real easy. I mean, yeah, it might not look that good when you're looking this close, you know, but I mean it's fairly. Let me get it to focus. To me, it's fairly easy. I've done it on all types of firearms, all types of grips, everything. So it's just something I've always been into. It really, let me tell you, with my SIG 226, makes a world of difference. Everybody who ever grabs a hold of that gun, they're like, wow. They're like, I like that grip. So, but as you can see, don't do the edges. Just doing the close to the edges, but not the edge itself. And same thing here. Close to the edge, but not the edge itself. You know, you don't want to do the edge because that becomes a rub point, and you don't want to have that stipple all the way rolled out to the edge because then it's going to constantly be catching clothing, gear, everything like that. So as long as you keep it off that hard, farthest out edge, as long as you keep it off that, you're usually good. That's usually the best way to do it. At least with AFGs. But as you can see, guys, it's going pretty good. I'll roll this into well, I'll probably just make this a separate video. But let me what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll stipple some. I'm gonna try this while I'm on film here. Alright, this is gonna be a bitch. Don't mind my breathing because like as always, I'm right on top of the camera as I'm doing this. Let me see if I can get that on film. But that basically is one row. I'll do this row right here. You're basically, I'm controlling how deep. I'm basically controlling everything. There is nothing that I have to really worry about. I know some people get scared by this, but you'd be amazed. I mean, you're controlling. I'm controlling the amount of grip I'm gonna have. I'm by how. First of all, by the tip. The tip I've chosen is the larger point. I also have the real sharp point, which I will have. Let me see if I can get that out. I also have this real sharp point right here, which I could use for finer detail. The sharp point, though, it doesn't create. You would think it creates a lot of traction. It actually creates less because there's less material being pushed up from the tip. Because what creates basically the traction is the material you're pushing up. It's creating sharp edges. And you remember, I could always sit there and I could just go like that, and that will take away. Yeah. It takes away some of that traction. Doesn't really do anything to it, but it just takes away some of those edges. So it takes away a little bit of that traction. I gotta fix that now, because I like high traction. And then I could just sit there and go like this, and just hit it and get those edges to curl back up. And boom. It's back to having the full grip. Now, also the way I'm doing this too, I don't want to be going in between these cracks in this little valley. Just go right along the top the top part, because that you want to keep it clean looking. You don't want too much BS going on. You don't want it to look like, honestly, like you fucking just rolled it down a driveway and let whatever the driveway did, you know. There's my stippling. But I will be creating basically a path like I did here, right here, and I'll show you how I do that right now. Go through. Am I doing this a little bit deeper, a little bit closer? Sometimes it's almost like a bead of weld too. That's how you want to do it too. You want to kind of have them roll over each other like a you know, a roll of quarters on its side. That helps with traction too. And I'm keeping the tip at an angle for this. Like I said, you don't want to go to that hard edge. You don't want to go to that farthest edge right here, because then what happens is you create a rub point right here, where without this is still smooth, and this is too. I could probably bump that down a little bit, to be honest. This edge right here, I think I went out a little bit too far with that, but I did it here too. But it is what it is. I'm not concerned. But you see how this pattern right here, I'm trying to see if you can see that. Right there, you see how that's like a roll of quarters? And then you have more of your individual pattern right here. Right there, these are more your individual pattern, where as I'm working in a single line, they become more like a roll of quarters sometimes, because that's a really good way to do it. A lot of these individual lines are roll of quarters. Some of these, in these areas where I have this, like I'll have this area to fill in, that will be individual dots. But if you could roll them like a bunch of quarters, you're going good. I'll do one more row with you here, guys. This is something you should not be afraid of. Something you should not be afraid of at all. I see some of these websites charge $150 for stippling. That's not including the fact that you got to send your firearm out to them, go through all that BS. I mean, you know, this is real easy. Real easy, guys. For the price of the soldering iron, which was $17, it can't be beat. And seriously, like, I was practicing patterns on, because I was thinking of doing this pattern on this backstrap. Now, what this is you'll notice that, here, let me do this side. You notice this side has the smaller, the outer area has the smaller dots, and then this has the bigger dots. So this little tiny rough texture area, that's with the small spike. This area right here with the bigger dots, the bigger circles, that's with the bigger tip that I've got on there now. And then if you look, I have like a little chisel attachment. And what I did with that chisel attachment is I made straight lines like this. So going this way, now let me put this down before I fuck that AFG up. Going this way, there is no texture. But coming down, there's texture. So when you're in a transition, which is good when you're going from left to right with the firearm, in this back strap of the grip is rubbing across your hand when you're doing the transition, that's good, because you don't want too much friction that way. But the friction's all vertical instead of horizontal, which is nice. I like that. If you see, I mean, you could see where it kind of goes. I don't know. I don't think this camera. So let me see if I could get this. Here, let's see if we can get this to go. Do you see how they're straight compared to the dots? So there's no, you know, I mean, yeah, it has a little friction, but it's not like crazy. But pushing up, it's real good. Pushing down, when you really put some lever in it. But this way, it's as smooth as a baby's ass, because you're riding on top of everything going this way. So that's something else to think about. I'm telling you guys, stippling is real easy. If anybody out there is afraid of it, don't be afraid of it. Go ahead. You could practice. If you get like something like the MAG grip, you figure out which grip you're definitely not going to use, and you could practice on that. MAGPUL's plastic is a little bit stringier than some plastics until that soldering iron really warms up, so that's just something to keep an eye on compared to like a Glock or a SIG. They can be real burn real fast. All right, guys. See you later.